Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Winding up so quickly. Very, very good. Hey, I'm so happy to see everybody here. Such a beautiful room. Got so many people. Welcome to the Outreach 44th Annual Luncheon. It's amazing how the time flies. And your help and support has been so great for all these 44 years. My name is Dan Kinberg, and I'm very proud to be the 2025 Outreach Luncheon Chairman. I'm a former Luncheon honoree as well as Outreach Board Chair. You know, let me again reiterate my thank you. We really appreciate the support. There are over 700 people out there. It's an amazing turnout, and I'm happy to report that we've raised $1 million. That's just wonderful. You know, in this climate where these kinds of organizations get funded, it changes all the time. So this support is so meaningful to our ability to be able to put together assets and programs that would help build healthy lives and healthy families and help the kids in general. Thank you very much. I'll give a quick introduction to the dais. Starting from my left, Mary Bright. She's our Senior Vice President and COO of Outreach. And they all did great work, so thank you. Daniel, our Outreach graduate. We'll hear from him shortly. Kathy Riddle, Outreach's founder and ODC Board Chair. Paul Vitale, my left deacon, assigned to St. Catherine's, St. Margaret's in Spring Lake, New Jersey. He's the interim president and CEO of Outreach and vice chair of the ODC board. To my right, my good friend, Michael Basso, managing director, head of property operations for the East Region, Brookfield Properties, operated by CBRE, and our Outreach 2025 Humanitarian of the Year. Gary LaBarbera, president of the New York City Building and Construction Trades Council, Outreach board member and former Luncheon honoree. Peter Myers, president of New York State Iron Workers District Council and Outreach 2025 Labor Leader of the Year. Howard Rothschild, President, Realty Advisory Board on Labor Relations, Outreach Board member and former Luncheon honoree. Last but certainly not least, Gaston Silva, Chief Operating Officer, New York Division of Vornado Realty. Gaston is our Outreach 2025 Jim Berg Memorial recipient. I'd like to now invite Gary LaBarbera to the podium to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And he'll be joined by some of our residents.
Good afternoon. This afternoon we'll be joined by a number of the residents from Outreach, so you're all standing. Please join me to our flag, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all very much. Please be seated.
I'd like to now introduce Paul Vitale to the invocation.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you to all of you who are here today. I now would like to take a moment of silence while I give the invocation. We gather today in gratitude for Outreach, an organization that stands as a place of hope, healing, and second chances for those living with substance use disorders and mental illness. Here, every person is met with dignity, compassion, and the belief that recovery is possible. We give thanks for the remarkable staff who make this mission real, our outpatient teams, our residential teams, every individual who shows up each day with patience, skill, and an open heart. Their work is not easy, but it is sacred. They meet people in their most vulnerable moments and walk with them towards safety, stability, and renewed purpose. Today, we ask for the wisdom for our leaders, strength for our caregivers, courage for those we serve, and unity for all who support this unbelievable mission. May the work we do together continue to change lives, strengthen families, and build healthier communities across New York. May we always remember that every act of kindness, every moment of understanding, every step forward, no matter how small, has the power to transform a life. Amen. Before we begin the program, again, I'm Paul Vitale. I'm a board member for a number of years for Outreach, and right now the interim chief executive officer, which has been a joy for me to be here to help transform this organization even further than it's been. But before we begin the program, we want to remember some people who we have lost over this year. We remember Joseph Collins, a devoted board member and steadfast supporter of this luncheon for more than 25 years. We hold his son Ken, his wife Margaret, and the entire Collins and family and Collins Building Services families in our hearts. We also remember Jerry Chasen, former Luncheon honoree, dear friend of Outreach, and father of board member Matt Chasen. Our thoughts are with Matt and his family. Let's take a moment of silence to remember these beautiful people. Thank you for honoring their memory. And once again, good afternoon and welcome to this most important fundraising event of the year. And I'm going to say it again, and Dan said it, but I think it's worthwhile saying twice. We've raised way now over $1 million for this cause. We have a ballroom filled with over 800 people. We're so grateful to be here with you today. And I want to once again ask our young folks from one of our residents, there's I think 8 of you, to stand up wherever you are. Where are you? Please stand up. And could you all give them a round of applause? A amazing round of applause. We're so grateful that you're all here. I want to extend thanks to the Luncheon Committee, who made many efforts to make today possible. I want to thank Dan Kindenberg and all of the members of the Outreach Development Board who supported this dedicated day and this organization to be here all today. Thank you so much. And I want to congratulate our 3 exceptional honorees today. Thank you for being here, and you're going to hear more from them, but let's give them a round of applause before it even starts. And as special thanks to our union, labor, and trade partners, many of whom serve our Outreach Board of Directors, and many others who are with us here today. For decades, you have stood shoulder to shoulder with us, referring your members for care, supporting our events, and investing in programs that save lives. You save lives. Your partnership has strengthened this unbelievable mission. And we look to the future. And the future Outreach is committed to deepening our partnerships with you through new collaborations guided by the leadership of the Outreach Project Board. We're creating more pathways for working families to access high-quality behavioral health when they need it most. We look forward to continuing to build stronger and healthy relationships with all of you. Before I close for the first time, because I'll be back, I want to tell you a brief story about a young man who's sitting here today in the audience who came into one of our outpatient facilities. We never really highlight those at these events. We have many of them across New York where people come in struggling with addiction problems, struggling with their lives. And we help them change their lives. This gentleman today's name is Nick. And after years of struggling with addiction and multiple treatment attempts, Nick started rebuilding his life with us, choosing positive peers and repairing relationships that mattered most, including a relationship with his mother, who he had been once unable to speak to while he was actively using. With the support of our outpatient staff and the stability of our community residents, Nick pursued vocational training, and today he works for the New York City Department of Transportation, earning a great living and building a future for himself. He's here today with his girlfriend, who is a police officer. Please stand, Nick, wherever you are. Where are you? Stories like Nick's remind us that recovery isn't just about overcoming the past. It's about living a life filled with dignity, connection, and opportunity. So, we also want to mention a few other things. Number one, you will find a QR code at your table. If you choose to make another donation, $1, $10, $20, $100, another million, whatever you want. Every gift, large or small, helps sustain our programs throughout the year. We also invite you to our silent auction, which has a number of things, especially donated by myself and my family. The bags, the ladies' handbags from Tory Burch, a designer, who gives me a steep discount on them, and we donate them for the last few years. Great Christmas presents, men, for your wives or anybody else. And finally, a little palm card at your table. We put these cards at your table to let you know what we do. We are here for you also and your families. If there's anything you ever need from us, we're happy to do that. And now I'd like to introduce someone very special. 45 years ago, this lady, this woman, recognized a critical need in Queens for services to support young people and families. Throughout her vision and leadership, Outreach has grown from a small little program to 11 OASIS licensed treatment centers, serving more than 4,000 individuals. Please join me in welcoming the founder of Outreach and the chair of our ODC Development Board, Kathy Riddle.
Good afternoon, everyone. Paul's a hard person to follow. I'm so happy to see so many familiar faces. This luncheon has really grown in the 45 years I've been here. So I think probably I'm the only person in the room that could probably say, maybe Neil Sheehan, who's here also, who has retired, who was our COO for many years, being with the agency over, 45 years. But today I have the privilege to tell you about a new program that we're opening. That is open, actually. On October 30th, proudly cut the ribbon for Outreach's newest facility, a young adult residence serving individuals ages 18 to 25. Today, with your support, we are expanding residential care to young adults, a group too often caught between adolescence and the adult systems of treatment. Nearly 15% of young adults in the United States have a substance abuse disorder. Nearly 3 times that rate higher than people 26 and older. This new facility will provide a vital gap in care, providing a safe, therapeutic, and state-of-the-art environment designed especially for their needs. Thanks for your continuous generosity, compassion, and belief in our mission. The vision is now a reality. To show you what your partnership has made possible, please join me in watching a short video of our young adult residential ribbon cutting and the lives it's already beginning to transform. And thanks again for your continued support for all these years.
So today is the ribbon cutting for the opening of our young adult program at Outreach.
This is really the first of its kind, a dedicated program for young people ages 18 to 25 who need substance abuse and mental health treatment.
There's nothing like it in the downstate area of New York.
This 18 to 25 age group is dying in unheard numbers. It's so beneficial to bring resources to families right here on Long Island. They will be in a safe, secure environment that fosters recovery.
A son, John Jr., passed away at the age of 25 of a fentanyl overdose. I think if there were more places like this around, he might still be alive today.
He died at 25, so this would have been so appropriate for him.
Youth ages 18 to 25 have the highest rates of substance use disorder, but they're the least likely to receive treatment.
So I started using when I was 14, and then 19, I got a DWI. If a facility like this was available to me when I was younger, I definitely would have looked into it.
This is bridging the gap for this age group.
We know that our young adults coming into the program, their development has been slowed down by their substance misuse and untreated mental health. So here we have to have clinical groups and formats to really help catch them up.
Carving this population out, giving them specialty services with an enthusiastic staff is exactly how to do that.
The facility is absolutely gorgeous.
You walk in, you have reception, and then you have a large room on your right with natural lighting. It is a community room.
We have a multi-purpose dining area. That's a beautiful room for a lot of activities.
We have a beautiful family room.
They wanted to name one of the rooms to honor John. And we decided on the family room because I believe he'll be there to support these young men and women.
That room could make a huge difference.
The lower level there is full of a lot of clinical offices, so folks will go in and out for individual sessions. There's a group room down there. There's also a classroom.
There's a computer room.
There'll be a gym because physical fitness is part of recovery.
The bedrooms are beautiful. It's 2 beds to each room with a desk and their own closets.
When you walk in this building, right away there's a feeling that conveys safety, conveys warmth. Really important value of outreach is to have the physical plant speak that message to people. that you matter, you're important, we care about you. My 21-year-old son, Garrett, he passed away from a fatal fentanyl overdose. At that time, had there been a program like this definitely would have been where we would have put him, but it didn't exist then. And it didn't exist all these years for many other people. The good news, moving forward, they won't have to go through that same journey.
So where I am today, I am 3.5 months sober. I am coming to a place like this at 19, 20, 21. I think it would have saved me years. Just being around kids my age, just focus on not needing a drug or drink to have fun. Whereas you come in at 30, it's just that much harder. A place like this saves you a lot of time.
We're being honored for the work that we've done for outreach because we generally believe in the work that they're doing. We have seen the lives that they've saved.
I really am hopeful that it will help these young people bridge adolescence to adulthood in a healthy way so that they can meet their futures.
You can't state enough the value of having a designated program that targets the developmental issues of that particular life stage. That's the gold standard, and outreach is all about providing the gold standard treatment.
I was at that ribbon cutting, and let me tell you, I've never been at a ribbon cutting with such a great turnout from people in the community. It was unbelievable. So we thank you all for helping us do this and do the many other things that we do. Before introducing our next speaker, I want to take a moment to recognize the heart of outreach, our devoted, compassionate staff. Thank you all for everything you do every single day, especially to our staff in the fundraising department. Marsha, Crystal, Ellen, all of you made this day possible. Would you please join me in thanking them also? Our speaker today is Daniel, who you'll meet in a moment, but I thought it would be appropriate for his mom, Kim Livingston, to introduce her son, who has come so far in his journey. Please join me in welcoming Kim Livingston to introduce her son, Daniel.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for the honor of being here today, and I have to say that as mom, it is, and I apologize if I the proudest moment of my life to be here today. You see, I know outreach well. I work in the business. I am a social worker. I have been an administrator for quite some time. I've worked with outreach. I knew its work. And honestly, I knew that my son needed outreach. But addiction did not fly over my house as I thought it would. It took hold at a very young age. And it took a while for my son and myself to be able to recognize that he needed help. And at that time, we entered outreach together. And he did the hard work. And he worked hard. And each day rebuilt our relationship, his life, and became the young man that I always knew he was. And so today, he is here to tell you his story. I will not tell it, it is his to tell. Of all of the things that he's done, where he's come, and where he's going because of outreach. So, with no further ado, I would like to introduce my son,
afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today and to share my story. It means a lot to me to stand here, not just as a young person in recovery, but as someone whose life has been shaped and strengthened by outreach. Its programs, its incredible staff, I'm here because of my hard work, yes, also because of my mother, my family, and the support system that refused to give up on me, even when I didn't yet know how to fight for myself. My name is Daniel Lyons, a 17-year-old high school senior, and I can say with confidence that who I am today is tied to where I've come from and what I've lived through. The challenges I've overcome shaped me, and outreach has been a large part of that journey. In many ways, my childhood was pretty average. I loved school, I loved my friends, and I played sports and joined activities that made my life feel normal, despite the parts that weren't. When I was 4, my father's substance addiction led to my parents' divorce, and I've been raised by a single mother ever since. The painful experiences around my father's addiction created trauma that my mother and I are still reckoning with today. When I was 7, my mom noticed that I had trouble focusing. By 9, I had been officially diagnosed with ADHD. The diagnosis brought new challenges, but with medication and support, I adjusted to my new normal. I did well in school and stayed involved in activities until life changed again. In 6th grade, COVID hit. Middle school was tough and for everyone during COVID, but for me, the shift to virtual school was especially hard. I lost the structure and support I relied on to manage my ADHD. Routines disappeared, and the trauma surrounding my father became harder and harder too. Looking back, I know now I started using substances because I didn't have the skills to cope with everything I was feeling. My substance use affected everything: my academic performance, my personality, my relationships. My mom saw the changes immediately and fought hard to get me the help I needed. Even when I pushed her away for 2 years, she kept trying. Eventually, I entered treatment, first through outreach outpatient, and I continued to spiral. I was admitted to Outreach House 2 in May of 2023, with the threat of probation hanging over my head. Being in treatment changed my life, but not overnight. I had to learn how trauma shaped my thoughts, my emotions, and my decisions. I had to confront feelings I'd avoided for years. Slowly, I began to imagine a different kind of future for myself. Most teenagers figure out who they are in high school. I had to do that work while also unlearning survival habits that were hurting me. Outreach gave me the tools to do both. When I left Outreach House 2, my life still didn't look like everyone else's. I enrolled at Aspire Academy, the recovery high school, which gave me a place to continue the work I started in treatment, while still earning my education. Aspire is a small school, and being among so few students was a real challenge for me, since I've always been happy and surrounded by friends. But Aspire also became a lifeline, providing structure, accountability, and adults who understood recovery in the way I needed. It's a school where you're not judged for your past, you're supported in building your future. Even after completing residential treatment, my recovery didn't just happen automatically. I stayed connected, I continued in outpatient, kept showing up at Aspire, and little by little things started to shift. My grades improved, I rebuilt routines, I rebuilt trust, and slowly I started to see a future that wasn't defined by the mistakes I made. Growing up, I had always loved English and writing for a long time. I imagined becoming an English teacher because writing felt so natural. But as I grew, especially as I became more grounded in recovery, I wasn't sure that path was fit for me. When I told my mom I didn't know what I wanted to do, she didn't panic. Instead, we talked about what excited me, what made me feel like myself. That's when I finally said out loud that I was interested in film and media. I've always loved storytelling, whether it's writing, movies, or creating something that makes people feel seen. So in the summer of 2025, I enrolled in the Summer Scholars Program at Five Towns College. where I took classes in film and media production. The program changed everything. It showed me I could turn something I loved into something real. And just last month, I completed my college applications to pursue film and media. Oh, and yesterday I got accepted to go to Buffalo. A year and a half ago, I wasn't even sure college was my future. Now I'm applying to study something that genuinely feels like a part of who I am. Throughout all this, outreach has continued to support me. I remain an outpatient, which I'm going to later, by the way. And Aspire Academy is still a place where I feel understood and supported. And outreach's commitment to young people goes far beyond the programs I've been a part of. When I was in Outreach House 2, the new young adult residential program for ages 18 through 24 to 25 was actually under construction. I remember hearing staff talk about it and seeing how excited they were to build something specifically for young adults. Even then, while I was still in treatment, it meant a lot to know that they were thinking about our futures. Now that the program is open, I feel two things. First, I hope I never need that level of support again. And second, I feel comfort because if life ever takes a turn I don't expect, I know outreach already has created a place where people my age can continue to recover safely. Surrounded by people who understand us and believe in us. Seeing outreach continue to grow, anticipating what young people need before we even know we need it, makes the future feel less scared. It makes me feel supported in a way that is hard to explain. I'm grateful for the tools outreach gave me, for every staff member who refused to give up on me, and for donors like all of you who make programs like this possible. You don't just fund services, you give people like me the chance to start again and to imagine a life beyond our trauma. As I wait to hear back from the colleges I applied to, I feel excited, nervous, hopeful, and ready. Ready because of the work I've put in, ready because of my family, ready because outreach taught me that even when life gets hard, there will always be help, always support, always a path forward. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for supporting outreach, because your support truly changes lives. I'm standing here today as proof of that.
Thank you so much, Dan. We are so proud of the progress that you've made and are continuing to make, and have a room full of support. Always want to support you. And thank you and your mom for sharing your experience. It's so nice for us to hear what the real mission of outreach does, and see it in action, and feel it from a family perspective, not just. So, congratulations. I'm now proud and honored to introduce Mike Costa. Mike and I have worked together for 36 years. Mike's always supported me in my work for outreach over these past 10, 11 years. And not long ago he came to me and he told me he loved outreach too and wanted to help. Well, of course, that made him a great recommendation for honoring. The work he had done for outreach as a member of the Luncheon Committee has been great, plus the effort we knew we would get from him would be tremendous. See, Mike always gives his all when he's committed to something. That's what I saw over our 36-year ride. A guy who was passionate to the cause, the project, the team, to whatever he sets his sights on. Marsha, our fundraising champion, has repeatedly called me to tell me what great work Mike was doing. He does work for several charities and charitable causes, and he always gives his all for their success. He's very proud to give back to such a meaningful cause, certainly one such as outreach. You know, Mike's always been a team leader. He's the kind of guy you want to follow because he's always given 100%. You know he's going to have your back. I see several faces of his team out there, and I'm sure they will tell you the same. Whether it's just an ordinary day or dealing with something major like rebuilding after a 9/11 or a Hurricane Sandy, Mike's a leader getting teams to work together, getting things done. Brookfield recently realigned how they manage property and brought in CBRE. We appointed Mike to a critical leadership role where a lot of change is taking place. You know, Mike just takes it in stride, plows ahead, comforts his team of managers, and makes difficult seeming situations a lot easier to solve. You know, Mike is also first and foremost a family man. Michael Jr. and Laura are here today. His great kids are succeeding in their own right. They will tell you how Mike always made their games, coached their teams, supported their interests like the great Staten Island dad that he was. And now he's doing the same for their kids, his 4 wonderful grandchildren. Mike's lovely wife Patty is here. She's a dear friend of the family. Now some may argue that Patty's the head of the boss. But hey, we're here to honor Mike, so let's give him that. There are a great many of you here today who have worked with Mike, consider him not just a co-worker, a client, or a contemporary, but a friend because of the experience that you've had with him. Over my 38-year relationship, I've grown to love Mike like a brother. And Mike, on behalf of the Board of Outreach, I want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your efforts on behalf of Outreach. Ladies and gentlemen, our 2025 Outreach Humanitarian of the Year, my friend Mike Putnam.
Dan, thank you for your kind words. You have been a great mentor and friend to me throughout my career, and I truly appreciate your guidance and support. Those of you seated at the tables, I'd like to ask you to stand. Please get up. Take a moment to look around the room and give yourselves a round of applause for your continued support. Programs like this would be hard-pressed to succeed. Thank you, all of you. I would also like to take this opportunity to congratulate my fellow honorees, Peter Myers and Gaston Silva. Daniel, you made it. You have met your demons head-on and crushed them. I know you will be successful in your future endeavors. Congratulations and keep moving forward. The past is behind you and the present is your future. I had the privilege of touring the Brentwood facility on July 21st with 2 residents, Abby and Abraham. They were so grateful to the staff at Outreach and had nothing but praise for the teachers, counselors, and other team members. They stressed to me the importance of structure and how structure helped them conquer their challenges. Abby shared something that really stuck with me. You start off in a room with nothing, and as you accomplish goals, you earn small rewards. She had just received a clock radio and was absolutely beaming as she told me about it. You could see how proud she was of that achievement. That moment reminded me that progress is built on hope, structure, and support. Thank you to Kathy Riddle and the entire Outreach Board of Directors and staff for everything you do to make this program a success. The mission of Outreach to inspire individuals and families to achieve a life of unlimited potential and is being realized every day. Daniel is proof of this. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to Outreach for this honor, and more importantly, for the extraordinary work you do every single day. Outreach is a beacon of hope for individuals and families facing behavioral health challenges. Outreach provides not only treatment, but also dignity, opportunity, and a path forward. From residential programs for adolescents in Ridgewood, Queens, and Brentwood, Long Island, to comprehensive services offered at Brentwood campus, including veterans programs, vocational training, case management, and integrated opioid treatment, outreach is transforming lives. I'd like to take a moment to thank a few very important people here today. First, to my co-workers and my amazing team. You are the best of the best, and I truly appreciate everything you do. Special thanks to the family members here today. My wife, Patty, my son, Michael, my daughter, Laura, and my son-in-law, Chris. My daughter-in-law, Grace, had to work, and my grandkids, Joe, Emily, Olivia, and Bo, had to go to school. I love you all, and I appreciate your love and support over the years. Let this day remind us that when we come together, business leaders, labor advocates, and organizations like Outreach, we can create lasting change. Let's continue to build bridges, invest in people, and ensure that every individual has access to the care and support they deserve. Thank you again for this incredible honor.
Well, good afternoon again. Pleasure to be here as a board member. I want to also extend my gratitude for your support. Incredible this year. Over $1 million. And a lot of that goes to honorary, so I want to thank them. I have a very personal honor today to introduce Peter Myers, recognized as labor leader of the year. And first I'm going to just say a few words about Pete's accomplishments. And I want to say a few words about Pete. Pete joined Local 580, the Iron Workers, 1985, 40 years ago. And 1988, graduated as an apprentice, from an apprentice to attorney, and then went to work in the field. It was in those early days in the field that Local 580 members and leadership saw Pete Myers as a future leader. He led in the field as he did his whole career in that organization. He's now president of the New York State District Council of Iron Workers, but he was a business agent for Local 580. He was the business manager for a number of years, and not only at Local 580 and in New York State, his leadership has been recognized. As of January 1st, Pete will be assuming a role as an international vice president for the Iron Workers International. Again, recognized throughout the ironworking industry, from the field to a leader as future and as a great leader. And I very much compliment him on his achievements. This year, when I was asked to facilitate and essentially get someone who would be great honoree, Pete came to my mind. And I called Pete, I think probably the same day, right after we had the conversation. Not while we were having the conversation, I think. We were actually in the meeting. I said, hold on a minute. I called Pete, and I said, Pete, outreach, Iron Workers always supported it. I'd like to recognize you. And Pete said, Gary, if you want me to do that, I'm happy to do that. It's a great organization. Let me tell you, as a president of the New York State and the New York City Building Trades, Pete also serves on both those boards. And in New York City, he is the Secretary-Treasurer, my partner at the New York City Building Trades Council. And as I say, let me tell you, to have a friend like Pete Myers is a very special privilege for me and anyone that knows me. Pete comes from who he is as a person. He is one of the most highly principled individuals that I've had the pleasure to deal with in my decades-long career as a labor leader. Pete always puts the interests of his members first, as well as the interests of the industry. And he is a man of his word. He is someone that if he says to you he's going to do something, he's going to do it. And if he can't do it, he will tell you that he can't do it. And that's something that I personally admire very, very much. His character exemplifies strength, leadership, I will say courage, because to be a labor leader in the construction industry takes a great deal of courage. Integrity, honesty, every description of the highest character that I could say today, Pete Myers exemplifies that. He certainly deserves all of his recognition within the ironworkers, and he certainly deserves recognition today to be considered the Labor Leader of the Year. He is truly an exceptional individual. Again, both in his professional capacity as a leader, but in his personal capacity as a person. And I will say this again, it is truly an honor for me to be able to speak. Because, you know, in this life, sometimes get the great opportunity to meet special people, and that person becomes someone you really love as a brother and a friend, and that's how I feel about Pete Myers. So it's my pleasure to now bring Pete Myers as Labor Leader of the Year to the podium for his remarks. Pete, congratulations.
Thank you, Gary, for your incredibly kind words. Thank you for everything. And most of all, thank you for Thank you. My fellow honorees, I'm not going to make you stand up like Mike, so Mike and Gadsden, congratulations. Great job, well deserved. Thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting this wonderful program. First, I'd like to thank all my building trades brothers and sisters for all your support and friendship over the years. It means the world to me. Special shout out to my ironworker family. I want to thank you for allowing me the honor to represent you. Truly, a very distinguished honor that I do not take lightly. I have to tell you something, as I stand up here today, it's a very surreal moment. Because I went to high school right around the corner from here, St. Agnes High School. And I remember this place we're in now when it was the Bowery Savings Bank. I remember this area back then. It didn't look like this now, so it was a little shady. And on those certain days when I got sidetracked from showing up at school, my friends and I would meet up in here, cause a little chaos, and then get thrown out by the guard. You young people in here, banks used to have guards. I can only imagine those brothers that taught me over there back then. They could see me standing up here now in a venue like this, addressing people like you. They gotta be rolling over in their graves. All kidding aside, this is a tremendous honor to be recognized by outreach. And as Mike touched on, one of the benefits of being honored is you get to tour one of their facilities. And I toured one out with Queens with Carrie and Santos. You know, so the physical structure itself is impressive. Small in size, but every inch of the place is yours. Classrooms, speaking quarters, dining areas, common areas. Everything in there is extremely clean, well maintained. You can see the pride and ownership. But on my my visit there, what really got my attention, people inside the building, starting with the staff, who went about their business with warmth, dedication, and passion. And you could really feel the passion that they had for the residents there. These staff members that work there, sometimes it's the most ideal situations, you're dealing with. They truly are very, very special people. And they deserve a round of applause for what they do. Then there are the residents. The first thing I noticed about the residents was how young they are. My heart broke for them. But then I watched them as they went about their business throughout the day. They all have these characteristics. They all walk with a purpose, clear eyes, determined, and resilient. And you realize these are special young people at such a young age, dealing with some serious problems. But they are taking the challenge head on, knowing that failure is not an option. See, we're all here today in this beautiful venue, sitting here with our friends and co-workers. But we didn't get here alone. Somewhere along the way, someone gave us a shot, an opportunity, a chance. In my case, more than one chance. Whether it was your union you belong to, the company you work for, whomever, they saw something in you, gave you the opportunity to succeed. That's exactly what Outreach does every day for these young men and women. It gives them the tools and the knowledge they need to address their issues and the opportunity to live a healthy and productive life. Hopefully what we do here today helps these young men and women reach those goals. I just, again, want to truly state how honored I am to be acknowledged by Outreach to have all of you come out supporting this. Thank you all again for this tremendous honor. And I want to wish all of you and your families a safe, happy holiday season. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Howard Rothschild, and I have the honor of introducing Gaston Siller, Chief Operating Officer of Fernando County, as a recipient of the Jim Burton Award. Gaston is quiet, caring, and intelligent. In fact, to paraphrase a very old expression of this age, your reaction will depend on your age to this, but to paraphrase an E.F. Hutton, when Gaston Silver talks, people listen. Jim Burr was also a quiet, caring, intelligent person who worked at the Real Estate Advisory Board for 40 years and was a great supporter of outreach. Jim had the ability to bring all types of people, union leadership, union membership, management, and ownership together. For years, Gaston worked with various leadership roles in New York City government and also brought people together. Imagine working for mayors Koch, Dinkins, and Giuliani. His ability to get along with three mayors with such diverse personalities and many others at City Hall is a testament that Gaston can get along with literally anyone, especially when motivated by his great love for the city of New York and for helping people. As an architect, Gaston was involved in design, construction, and restoration of many sites, including Carnegie Hall, Museum of Jewish Heritage, and Washington Court Apartments. That list stacks up to my second most favorite architect, George Costanza. I have many different relationships with Gaston. I won't go into them all, but my favorite connection is that I can call He is always there and supportive when you need him, and his intelligence, kindness, and generosity are ever present. When Gaston was asked to accept the Chamber Award, he did, without any hesitation, said it would be his honor. When we visited Outreach, it was apparent that he had an interest in hearing about the challenges and the successes of the clients, as well as the logistics and administration of running the programs. As a representative of the Outreach Board, it is my pleasure and honor to recognize Gaston Silva as this year's recipient of the Jim Burke Award.
Thank you, Howard. As you know, receiving an award that bears Jim Burke's name is a real personally very meaningful. Congratulations to you, Rob Schwartz, and the great team of the RAB for so brilliantly building Jim's legacy. All the years that I've been involved with the RAB has taught me the true value of partnership, specifically with the labor partners in our industry. 32BJ, Mrs. Pastorage is here, Local 94, Cougar Brown is here. We all know we can't do it without you, so thank you very much. Thank you, Dan, for your leadership here at the Luncheon and also on the board. Congratulations to our co-honorees, Michael Lasso and Peter Myers. As we know and as we've heard, we're true leaders in our industry. Obviously, we're here to support outreach. We know how critically important the work that they do is, how incredibly effective they are. I am humbled by their dedication, professionalism, and effectiveness. Most of all, I am grateful because the scourge of drug addiction and mental illness touches us all. We've heard of the 6 degrees of separation. This is a lot less than 6 degrees. I have reached a point in my life when I can't help but reflect the winding trajectory that my work life has taken. Howard mentioned an architect, I worked in government, 3 different mayors, and now I am in real estate. Spent 26 plus years now at Tornado Realty Trust, working with the smartest, most creative, most dedicated, and ethical real estate professionals that I could ever have wished to know. It's been a rare pleasure and a privilege. Common thread in the winding road, really, when you think about it, our industry. All of you here in this room. Remarkably talented, dynamic, generous, calculated, generous. All the causes that we share together, we contribute to, we work hard to help, is really a stretch. I salute each and every one of you for everything that you do. We collectively build this city and we run this city. Thank you very much.
Okay, just need a couple of minutes to wrap up. Once again, we'd like to thank everybody here. As they've all said, thank you very much for your support. Truly we appreciate it. Congratulations to all the honorees. Thank you for helping us out again. We can't do it without you. Special thanks to today's luncheon underwriter, Building Contractors Association, Contractors, Carpenters District Council of New York City, Charity and Relief Fund. Special thanks for today's reception sponsor, Collins Building Services. Special thanks, yeah, sure. A special thanks to our today's diamond sponsors, Benjamin Maintenance,